Hello and welcome to a morning chess game I played against a 2086 player. And the theme of this lesson is the power of development. What is a developmental advantage? It really is just a force advantage, right? You have more men you have more men out, and they will be a little late at stopping the attack. Okay, I have the white pieces, and I opened with d4, and it's also to show you that I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just using principles. Again, I don't study openings. I'm going to leave the computer arrows up to show best moves and to show that I did not make the best moves, but still was relying on the fact that I had better development. It also shows you how, I'm telling you, when you have this insight, it shows you how Morphy and Fischer and all these guys can win in the opening because they recognize that they have a developmental advantage. That was such an eye-opener for me. So let's see if we can open your eyes here too. All right, so he plays bishop to f5. Okay, I know there's some kind of tricks now that I can get some superior development here and maybe win a pawn in the center here, and I never remember exactly how I'm supposed to go about it. So anyway, I played the knight out. You see the computer wants me to play the queen out immediately, putting two attackers on the d5 pawn, which I don't do. But now I do it this way, and he develops. And now I played pawn takes. Yeah, look, computer, that's the not even listed here on the number of moves that I have shown. It wants me to bring my knight out, but I took it, take. This was like the most simplistic way for me. And I do know I can get into trouble here because I know I never do this right. But he plays the knight out. Now look, he can converge. I mentioned this in other videos. He can network on this c2 square. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. No. Okay, forget that. But anyway, on the c2 square, he can bring the knight to b4. And he's coordinating with his bishop on f5 and can check me on c2. Yeah? Oh, there's how we do it. Okay, so here, right? He can play knight here and then knight there. So I have to be very careful. And I played knight out, and he goes for it. Yeah? So I play the computer-suggested move to block that bishop coordination on the c2 square. And he takes, and the computer has two choices. I chose the inferior one. I played knight to, because he's defended by the bishop here, and I have two attackers now, a gang attack on f7. Yeah, and how does he handle it? He brings the bishop back. And what's funny? You just amplify pressure, and I didn't do it. It's really weird. This was the most straightforward way, right? Perfect moves. I didn't play the perfect move. But that was so obvious, right? You develop the bishop to c4 and place three attackers on the f7 pawn, which I did not do. What did I do? I had I wanted to get that pawn back. That was very myopic thinking, right? So I do that. What is the rating? Okay, it shows white, black slightly ahead right now. And queen takes, and I develop. Yeah, at least I did know that I was going to have still more men developed, right? I have three men out I have four counting the queen. He has three counting his queen. So I attack the queen, and now he doesn't handle it right. Yeah, I mean, he does play the best square, but I did play the best move here. f4, attacking the queen again. Do what the position requires you. And here's the other thing. When you have a lead in development, that's a temporary advantage. You have to continue to attack. Otherwise, he can catch up, and then you no longer have an advantage. You may have a disadvantage. So you have to keep attacking when you have a force advantage. And this is all in the opening. Look, I'm up now. The computer shows I'm up plus 2.6. And I attack the queen again. And I'm going to try to win win material. You want to try to win something, right? So you just think about what you can win a pawn or a piece, but it gets a little tricky here. All right, and I attack the queen, and he runs back. Okay, now he's got two attackers on my bishop here. So I need to keep attacking. Attack the queen again. Let's see if I screw up, if I keep accuracy here. Do I take it? I took it. And there was a reason, let's see, for this. Oh yeah, this pawn, see, is weak here on b7 with an undefended rook. Undefended pieces, right? Power move number 3. And let's see, what does he do? Oh yeah, he attacks my undefended rook here. And that was a bad move. Oh, and he's also attacking, he's got a double attack, attacking my bishop on d3. But the computer shows that I am up big time now, 15 plus 15. Look, I have 4 men out, right? His 1. Yeah. So this is fascinating. And it was just based on recognizing that I had a force advantage and then knowing that I had to keep attacking. And it doesn't have to even be precise, ultimately. It has to be good enough. Yeah, but not perfect. So I decided to give him the rook. Right, I see a possible mating attack here. Right, my bishop prevents the king from escaping here. I just need a nice check here, but the pawn can block here. So I decided to give him my rook. I can get his rook. He takes with check, and yeah, and I run. The threat is still there. He takes with check. I go back. He moves the rook. Yeah, now it's curtains. It's mate in 3, which, let's see if I check, rook up, and now the queen. Anyway, it's check, right? The rook is pinned. The king has no escape square, and he's in check. This really underscores the power of development, which is a force advantage, which is one of the 4 elements, right? Time, space, force, and pawn structure. And then keeping the attack going. And, you know, as we saw, I didn't play the most precise attack, but it still ended up being good enough. Hope you got something out of it. Thumbs up if you did, and talk to you later in the next Morning Chess.